1945 saw the lights go on again. Once more the nation's capital was blazing in all its glory, and in cities throughout the nation the blackout was ended. Germany had surrendered, the war in Europe was over. 3 months later, crowds gather in front of the White House, awaiting the announcement of Japan's surrender from President Harry S. Truman. It took 2 atomic bombs to bring Japan to her knees. But now Pearl Harbor was avenged, and the news triggered the greatest celebration the nation has ever known.
The post-World War II era introduced Americans to consumerism in the 1950s, a period vastly different to their experiences prior.
The growing savings of the war due to rationing resulted in confidence in consumers, allowing innovative inventions to be kickstarted and widely popularized, making the 1950s a decade of economic boom.
Starting in 1950, Ralph Schneider invented the first credit card, known as diners, allowing consumers to buy on credit but with more regulations in comparison to the 20s. This added convenience to the everyday consumer, as well as the opportunity for consumers to make big investments on products they may not have money for at the time.
Also in 1950, the Frisbee was invented and quickly rose to popularity. Leo Fender was first to mass-produce solid-body electric guitars during this year as well.
The TV was very popular in the 1950s. In 1951, 1.5 million TV sets were sold in the United States, 10 times the number sold in 1950. Color television was also introduced in this year. However, it was not regularly broadcasted until 1954.
Additionally, Charles Ginsberg invented the first videotape recorder that captured live images from television cameras by converting the information into electrical impulses and saving the information onto magnetic tape. This shocked America, for they could not believe they were witnessing live performances.
1951 caused controversy in the hearts of America as well. Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger was published and had wildfire popularity. The audience the book was open to at the time had more of a narrow outlook on life, and while some embraced the adequate description of an angsty teen, others shunned the book for its profanity and obscenity.
In terms of fashion, tailored tweed dresses and fur trimmings were very in style at the time.
The barcode was patented in 1952, allowing stores to keep track of thousands of products. This granted stores the ability to have a record of what was being bought.
Also in 1952, the first ever diet soft drink was sold. The beginning of the refreshment era was made possible by Kirsch Bottling when he launched a sugar-free ginger ale product known as No Cal. This product was designed for diabetics, but was distributed locally as a diet commodity.
Fashion in 1952 leaned more toward the elegant look as delicate formal shoes came in style. Chiffon and lace were the must-have fabric of the year. As for the men, the double-breasted lounge suit was the staple of the year.
In 1952, Mr. Potato Head was invented and patented by George Lerner. This toy was based on the idea of an earlier game known as Make a Face, which also used a potato.
I tried to prove my love to you.
Mrs. Potato Head was added in 1953 along with the rest of the Potato Head family, which included brothers Spud and sister Yam. This family included accessories such as a car, a boat trailer, a kitchen set, and pets known as Spudettes.
But over and over, I'll be
Hey, it's Hasbro! Hasbro makes toys. What's new, Hasbro?
Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head with their own cars and trailers. That's what's new. See, Mr. Potato Head has a car and boat trailer. And there's a car and shopping trailer for his wife, Mrs. Potato Head. It's such fun to do and so easy. Like this. Take any fruit or vegetable. Just stick in eyes, then ears, and then the mouth. You can make the funniest looking people in the whole world. Potato Head people look different every time you make them. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head with cars and trailers come in $1 and $2 sizes.
Hasbro makes great toys. It's fun to play with Hasbro.
and over. Oh, I'll be a fool for you.
Saran wrap was invented in 1953. The sales went from 130,000 rolls per month to over 3 million rolls of saran wrap per month in just 10 months.
and over. I said that I love
In 1953, beef sales increased 26% in the first 8 months due to the price control removal.
1953 also saw the shortening of hemline waistlines and hairlines. Multiple strands of pearls and large hoop earrings became a staple in the American society's closets.
Swanson TV dinners grew with increasing popularity during 1953. Sales went over $10 million in its first year of production. This was due to the fact that one original TV dinner sold for 98 cents.
With 1954 came the advent of the first nonstick Teflon pan. This was the first time the use of Teflon was introduced into the consumer market, shaping the way for many other man-made synthetics.
Also in 1954, the first McDonald's was started by Ray Kroc. This was just one of the many fast food restaurant chains opened during the decade and became another way for the American consumer to spend money.
It was an instant success, with the chain selling its 100 millionth hamburger by 1958, and the chain was soon on its way to become the most successful fast food chain of the era.
Fashion during this year included relaxed waistlines, high-quality fabrics, costume looks, and Orlon sweaters.
1955 brought the arrival and patenting of Velcro. This product, invented by George de Mestral, used an innovative hook and loop fastener, and eventually came to rival the zipper in its ability to fasten things together.
As the product hit industries, de Mestral and his company were selling as much as 60 million yards of Velcro per year. Today, the product is a multi-million-dollar industry and influencing every market from fashion to quick fixes within everyday life.
Along with Velcro, coonskin caps made popular by Davy Crockett. Their sales reached over 5,000 a day around the country. This fad remained strong until the end of the 1950s.
The ever-evolving fashion trends took a different turn in 1955, with the influence of outside nations such as Japan, China, and India. An oriental look with tunics, Indian saris, Persian brocade, the implementation of widened shoulders without padding, long evening dresses, blazer stripes, plaid, and fur was commonly introduced in 1955.
In 1956, the world's first commercially successful videotape recorder, the Ampex VRX 1000, was demonstrated at the National Association of Radio and Television Broadcasters convention.
Though it wasn't bought by the public as much because of its $50,000 price, it was purchased by American television networks and the largest individual stations. It dominated the industry for the years to come.
Betty Nesmith Graham invented Mistakeout, later renamed liquid paper, to paint over mistakes made with a typewriter. This revolutionized typewriting, promoting everyone, from amateurs to professionals, to express their opinions through writing and publishing.
As for the children in the 1950s, 1956 brought the invention of Play-Doh. Play-Doh made its market debut as a children's molding toy, and by 1958, sales had reached $3 million.
The fashion of 1956 included elegant and intricate spy costumes, ribbed cardigans, knit sweaters, and the growing trend of fur, for tailored suits, evening dresses, and coats.
Don't have nobody to call my own.
Specifically, bubble wrap served as a handy invention to serve as a packing material to newly flourishing shipping services.
In addition, major fashion trends were introduced in 1957 that are still used today.
Channelism was first introduced in 1957, as well as short non-fitted jackets, pleated skirts, overblouses, the stiletted toe, higher hemlines, cloche hats, and the use of satin.
In 1957, the automobile industry also took a big leap with the production of the 1957 Chevy, which was one of the classic cars of the period. Cars made by Chevrolet were very popular in the decade, with Chevys outselling Ford and every other car manufacturer.
In general, cars, more than any other consumer good, embodied the consumer fantasies and exuberance of newly prosperous Americans.
By mid-decade, almost every American household owned at least one car, and spending on automobiles accounted for nearly 20% of the gross national product.
A total of almost 58 million cars were produced and sold during the 1950s by American manufacturers.
Give them a pair of eyes with a come hither gleam. Give them a lonely heart.
With 1958 also came one of the biggest fads to ever hit the American market, the hula hoop.
It was invented by Richard Nurr and Arthur Mellon. who passed out free hula hoops and gave demonstrations across South California playgrounds. Thus, the hula hooping frenzy was born.
Surprisingly, however, the craze only lasted from January to October of the same year, after which the fad suddenly died out.
During that span, it was estimated that over a whopping 100 million hula hoops were sold, with the original price being $1.98.
1958 also saw the introduction of Bank of America's Bank AmeriCard, what we now know as a Visa card.
Unlike previous credit cards, this card was accepted by many businesses and stores, adding convenience for consumers and sellers alike.
The card added an exciting new feature. Instead of paying the total bill at the end of each month, customers could only pay a portion of their bill, rolling the remaining amount over for future months.
The fashion of 1958 was centered around the changing of the shape of the silhouette, along with the popularity of chinchilla fur, Orlan, Dacron, and Acrylon.
If only all my precious plans would come true. If you would let me spend my whole life.
1959 brought one of the most popular toys to ever hit the market for girls, the Barbie doll. It debuted at the American International Toy Fair in New York City.
The first Barbie sold for $3, with separate pieces of clothing coming at prices varying from $1 to $5.
In its first year, 300,000 Barbie dolls were sold, and eventually started to come out in over 125 different models.
Take you up in paradise up above. Shaboom, they tell me, darling, I'm the only one that's
Barbie, you're beautiful. You make me feel my Barbie doll is really real. Barbie's small and so petite. Her clothes and figure look so neat. Her dancing outfit rings the bell. At parties she will cast a spell. Purses, hats, and gloves galore. And all the gadgets gals adore.
Barbie dressed for swim and fun is only $3. Her lovely fashions range from $1 to $5. Look for Barbie wherever dolls are sold.
Barbie, beautiful Barbie, I'll make believe that I am you.
Whoa, life could be a dream.
Though the invention of the Barbie doll commanded the sales during 1959, the Kodak stereo camera also began to increase in popularity with the growing consumer demand to document their personal lives with pictures. This new mindset led to 100,000 Kodak Brownie home movie cameras being sold in 1959.
Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream.
What kind of movies do you like? Do you go for fast action? Perhaps you prefer a good costume drama. Or maybe you have a yen for young romance. You can make them all at home easily. And right now they're easier than ever to afford, because now there's a new Brownie movie camera by Kodak that costs only $29.95. It's precision built by Kodak, so you know it's good.
Well, please don't ask me what's on my mind.
The average American consumer in the 1950s enjoyed the new products, forms of entertainment, and fashion whose timeless impact formed the American culture of today.
As a result of the increasing consumer demand and the emergence of a larger middle class, citizens relied on new, innovative products that helped express their personal flair and set themselves apart in an increasingly homogeneous society.
This allows citizens to become unique individuals and spark the start of diversity in American culture.
Thus, come to the Modern American Library's exhibit on consumerism in the 1950s.
Inside a shake like a leaf on a tree. There's only one cure.